1 second. Okay, we are live on Facebook.
Okay.
And you guys again. Okay. So let's start with a welcome to the Be the Spark movement and today's conversation.
So let's start with a welcome to the Be the Spark movement and today's conversation.
Let me close out Facebook or we'll be
welcome to the Be the Spark movement and today's conversation.
Okay. There we go. That would be annoying, wouldn't it? We'll start with a meditation and then I'm going to let Jeffrey do an introduction of what we're going to do and we will go from there. Okay. So let's sit up tall, close our eyes, drop your shoulders. And feel into the seat that you're sitting. Notice your connection with the earth. Bring your attention to your hands. Just breathing deeply as you have a little gratitude for the hands. Bring your attention to your feet. Just noticing each toe. Notice where your feet are. And then bring your attention to your heart. Notice the beat of your heart. Really coming to be present in this moment. And notice your breath, how your lungs expand, your belly expands. And notice that it's you. You completely and fully in this moment. Acknowledge your authentic self. Dropping any masks, any shoulds. Letting go of anyone else's opinion, expectations, or comments. And as we go through this conversation today, just come with your full authentic self. Just as you are. And take one more deep, full breath. And let it go. And open your eyes. All right. I'm going to give the floor to Jeffrey.
All right. Well, that's a good morning, everybody. That's a good way to start off things. I need to start doing that more often. That's so our topic is peer pressure, and I was thinking about peer pressure. We think of adolescents, kids, younger people, but peer pressure really doesn't. It never stops, and the reason I say that is because it can, certain situations can kind of dictate what you do a lot of times. And I want our group, like Arnold was saying, he's going to school to become an electrical engineer. What if we called it peer inspiration? Maybe we should become peer inspiration for people around us, not pressuring anybody, but just being an inspiration for kids, adults, and whoever. But yeah, I think a lot of times we get it confused and think that it stops at 15, but it does not stop at 15. It continues throughout your life, you know. I think I was telling Carrie, I I rode a motorcycle until it got stolen, but I rode a motorcycle and sometimes I'd be part of these groups, not as a member, but just going on rides, you know, Toys for Tots, whatever it was. But there would be conversations and then things would come up like that I wasn't into. And, you know, we're grown men, but peer pressure was there. So peer pressure doesn't stop. But I think it's very important, especially working with youth, to make them comfortable in who they are and standing on the, I call it stand on their square, stand on their square, being comfortable enough in themselves to say, no, that's not my thing, you know, instead of kind of going with the crowd. It doesn't have to be drugs or alcohol. It could be just you're thinking about something or about your neighborhood or about your neighbor that you don't know, but somebody is telling you about your neighbor. So peer pressure comes in a lot of forms. So I think with our group, let's call it peer inspiration, where we want to inspire people to be the best version of themselves, whatever that is, whatever their gifts and talents are, to bring that to make this planet. Because, you know, you can be selfish. You know, I'm going to selfishly do what I need to do for myself so I can expand it. You know, once I learn whatever this craft is or hone this, then I can reach out to other people and inspire them in whatever it is they do. So in some forms, I think you can be a little selfish with it to really hone in. You know, nobody's going to study for you. You have to study for yourself, whatever it is, or practice for yourself. So I guess there is some selfishness in that, but not in a way that you just want it for yourself. It's just, you have to learn it to express it, to teach it to somebody else. So it's kind of my version of peer pressure, or what we've seen is peer pressure, but we can turn it into pure inspiration. And that's what I want us to do with this.
I love that. I wrote that down. Peer inspiration. And there's Victoria. Hi, Victoria. She's
Hello.
so glad
Hello. Glad to be here. Sorry I'm late.
You're fine. You're fine. We were just Jeffrey was just telling us his version of peer pressure, which he is turning into peer inspiration.
Yeah, which I think is a good idea. I was looking at it through the Facebook, and I mean, I think that's really a good idea because, you know, we really shouldn't be putting any more pressure on anybody, whether you're a young adult or an adult, you know. It's just counterintuitive, I think.
I agree. And I think peer pressure can be about anything, you know, and especially in terms of divisiveness. So it's like you either come on my side of the line or I can't be your friend anymore. And it's just really sad.
And it's happened quite a bit. We saw it with COVID. I saw it with COVID personally.
Oh yeah.
I saw families disrupted by COVID. And it was really sad to see. You know, you can't come over here because you didn't do a certain, you know, that was sad to see. I don't know if there were already cracks in that family. I don't know. But I know I saw things go the divisive way. I was like, man, that's kind of sad, because when this all ends, you know, you want to go back to that family and then all these fractures in it over something, you know, that could have been like, we have differences of opinion, but we're not going to let this divide us.
Right.
Just divide us. You know, we can speak about it and even debate about it, but don't let it divide us. And that's how things continue as they are, because we get mad like, well, this is my way or no way. And I don't want to, you know, I'm not dealing with that person anymore because they think differently. But thinking differently is actually a good thing, because it helps you to build whatever your response to it is. You know, if you know what the counter opinion is, you can kind of study it and know what you're having a problem with, you know. So I think it's always a bad. Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Jimmy.
Hey, Jimmy.
He's muted. Oh, there he is.
Hello. You guys get me?
You need to go sit beside Arnold. His internet's really good.
As usual, problems with the internet.
Yes. Yeah.
Let me hope you guys are getting me.
We figured you were having some struggles.
Nice to meet everybody.
We are glad you are here.
Good to have you here.
Oh, Jeffrey, nice
Yes.
to meet you. You have been lost lately.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
You've been lost lately. You've been lost lately.
Yeah, you're breaking up, Jimmy.
Okay, you can proceed. I'll be following.
There's Madeline.
Write it, Jimmy.
Yeah,
Just-
you can always
Yeah.
write it.
I want to hear what you said.
Madeline sideways. So
Always sideways.
there you are.
Hey, hello. Hi.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, good to see you.
Glad you joined us,
Good to see
Madeline.
you too.
So we'll see what Jimmy says. I am following. Let us proceed. Okay. All right. So let's talk about like what everybody's biggest peer pressure, I guess, obstacles are. Like
Hmm.
what do you feel the most pressured to do, even as an adult or whoever you are? Yeah. I mean, for me, it's just to meet other people's expectations, you know? Like sometimes I feel like nobody wants to hear my side. They just want me to understand their side of things or their point of view. So that's my biggest struggle is having my voice heard and not just falling into what other people are thinking.
Hmm. My biggest, at least I feel pressure. I feel kind of pressured by the standards that society has of a black male. I yeah, I feel that all the time here. You know, like there's a certain media impression that does not fit me at all.
Mhm.
Not at all. And I fight with that all the time. I fight with that all the time. So that's a pressure that bothers me daily. Yeah.
I can imagine.
Mhm.
Yeah. Anybody else want to chime in on that?
I mean, Kara, I can understand where you're coming from, but I've gotten to, and I'm probably the oldest person in this category or this group. So, I've gotten to the point where it's like, I don't argue with people, they're entitled to their opinion. I may not agree with it, but we can agree to disagree and we can still get along. We can still spend time together, you know. And I've also learned that, having expectations, especially my own, of other people has only caused me hurt and grief and whatever. So now I've gotten to the point where if something kind of makes me feel like I'm hurt, then I think about, well, I guess I have an expectation tied to that, right? And
Mm.
so I was like, okay, let that go,
Right.
because it's just more uncomfortable for me. And I think, now as I am, aging and, getting to that point where I'm thinking about retirement, it's kind of like now I'm looking at the older people.
Mm.
I don't want to put myself into that category, but I'm there,
Yeah.
and it's just, there's, I just see the world is always so black and white, right?
Yes.
And it's all back, and I know that, Jimmy had said something about, the perception of him, because of how he looks, kind of thing. But we're all like that, right?
Right.
We go out and we look at people, and I just kind of have gotten to the point where I look at them and I said, I really wonder what's going on in their life,
Mhm.
that makes them react a certain way, or think in black and white when there's so many shades of gray in this world.
Right.
And
Another
we're all created equal in the eyes of God, are we not?
absolutely.
True.
So that's my 2 cents.
Yeah. Neil tells me all the time when I'm venting about something, have they ever done this for you? And I'm like, no. He's like, I don't know why you have that expectation for them. And I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
he always reels me back in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes we give so much time to what we think people think of us that we,
Yeah.
we don't enjoy. And I know I'm saying it because I know I'm guilty of like, but I think I don't know this person. Why am I letting that affect me like it does? Or, or vice versa. They don't know me. So,
True.
Yeah,
So-
and I think you can lower your expectations for how other people are and still respect them and love them. You don't
Mhm.
have to expect them to treat you a certain way because they're probably never going to do that. They're never going to live up to what you want.
Mhm.
And I had a pretty rocky relationship with my dad my whole life.
Mm.
And several years ago, I confronted him about it with a lot of support from Carrie, and I really changed the expectation I had for him.
Mm.
And we're like darn near best friends again. It's awesome. It's really helped, and that's on a personal level. But I think that a lot of people have expectations for you to be treated like you would treat them, and that's just not how the world is. So, and when you take that burden on, it's just like Victoria said, you're taking the burden yourself versus being yourself and living your life. You got to let that stuff go because you can't control it. I don't know how that's around pure inspiration, but that's my 2 cents.
No, that's good.
No, I think it has a lot to do with peer inspiration because, when you aren't reactive to something that is happening outside of us, then you're able to respond with love and that's our inspiration, responding with love and understanding as opposed to being reactive and jumping back at somebody because they're not meeting your expectations.
Yeah.
So that is definitely peer inspiration because people can see how you're treating other people and they're like, oh, I wonder why she didn't react to whatever it was.
Yeah.
And then they maybe, hopefully, want to move in that direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was this young lawyer. Well, this lawyer was talking to me not that long ago, maybe about a year ago. And when he was a young lawyer, well, he wasn't even a lawyer yet. He was he was a paralegal working towards his law degree. And he noticed that the top lawyer would give him a hard time all the time. He couldn't do anything right, nothing right. And he'd go home so frustrated, but he didn't want to show it to this top lawyer. And I guess he worked with him for over a year, maybe closer to 2 years. But this guy was always on him. He was thinking in his mind, it's got to be this, the way I look, this, he doesn't like me, blah, blah, blah. When he finally made it through that and he became a lawyer, or he was in law school getting ready to take his bar, the lawyer came to him and said, I was testing you because I can't have somebody that's emotionally distracted all over the place when in my law firm. I want right lawyers who are going to take care of business and handle it as business and not get emotional, because emotional, you don't think clearly. He said it was the best advice that he could have gotten. And he said if he had done what he wanted to do, he would have just blown up at the guy. But he said he had to hold it together, not knowing there was a test all the time, So yeah, we can't be emotionally all over the place. We have to find where we are and run with that.
Yeah. Very true. But we have to feel those emotions somehow. So you got to find your tribe, right? So you can vent and you can, let those emotions flow through you instead of just holding them all in and being stuck. Definitely. Does anybody else have a story they want to share? Jimmy, do you have a story you want to type for us? I'm sure you have stories. Or Arnold, Madeline.
Hey, hello.
Hey.
Are you guys getting me?
right now we can.
You're getting me. Okay. So my story is about peer pressure and fitting in. Most of the problem I'm having is the fear to be hurt.
Mm.
Occasionally, I fear to be hurt, like the past experiences and everything that went on in life forces me to go into that solitude zone.
Mm. Mhm.
I can see
At the
that.
end of the day, I can't express myself better with my peers. Basically, that is it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I know it's a sad story, it's a sad experience, but my past determines that. I've been in an area whereby I can't get over my past, which normally influences the way I act around people. Most of them, at the end of the day, refer to me as someone who is reserved and so on, an introvert. Yet, if they know me, I can express myself better, but few people understand me.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah. Hope you can relate.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
What
I
would
think
what would
any
help you? I'm sorry. What would help you, or what helps you express yourself more? Do you write more? Like when you're feeling like you're not being heard, what avenue do you take to express yourself? Even if you're not, do you write more or do you think more? What do you do?
I take time to meditate.
Mhm.
Meditation helps me a lot. I usually go into that safe zone. There are a couple of countryside resorts down here. So I head out, I get some quiet place. I take my time to brainstorm about the situation,
Mhm.
try to understand those people. So by the time I meet them the next time, it's really easy for me to cope.
Mm.
Sometimes the problem might be me, sometimes the problem might be them, but I take my time to read the situation, understand. So by the time we meet again, it's easy for me to fit in after understanding them. Because look here, someone can make a statement and you might be hurt, yet they didn't intend to. But if you take time and know this person, the next time they are making their statements, it's easier for you to perceive them.
Mhm.
Surely
Mhm.
that is it. Definitely.
I like that.
That's some great thought. Yeah. Yeah. So just taking the time to like sit back and absorb what somebody said and then try to see things from their point of view and see how best you can
Completely.
handle it.
Completely.
Yeah. That's some really
Sure.
good advice.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's also like extremely mature as well to not like just be in the moment and like lash out at somebody if you're upset, but to just like center yourself.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Take that time to step back. And meditation is very calming. Like, and Victoria, did you have something?
No, I think that, it's a good idea when you're going into a new group. I know that I always feel the energy
Mm.
is kind of in the room. And react well, I'm always an observer first. And then as I get more comfortable or feel the energy more or whatever, then I might start a conversation. But I'm a total introvert myself. So it's hard for me to kind of be in groups just in general, right? So, I kind of manage myself when I'm going into groups, and don't speak a lot. I'm sure you realize that, Carrie.
I have. But when you do speak, you have such profound things to say.
Well, thank you. But that's just the way I think it's part of my childhood too. You
Mm.
know, um, you know, you weren't I was more the rebel in my family, and I was always getting in trouble because I spoke my mind. Because I felt I was being not, wasn't being treated fairly.
Right.
Even as a young child, I was very rebellious. So, as an adult, I think I'm just the opposite. I'm very introverted, and, I'm still rebellious at heart, but I don't show it as much.
Well, you're showing it by being on here, right? Like what we're trying to do is rebellious against the norm and the standard that our society is in right now. Everybody is divisive and everybody is selfish, and everybody, which there are times to be selfish, like Jeffrey said, but if we just follow along with the crowd, it's not a good place to go. And what we're doing, leading with love and sparking inspiration, that's rebellious right now in this day and age. So, way to go, Victoria. Be rebellious. Let's see. Jimmy says, sorry for the silence. I'm trying to get someone on the meeting. Alan is having issues on his network. Yay. Get more people on. Yeah. Anybody else have something to say about either being a introvert? I'm an introvert myself. Not at all. Not even close. So I have to, because I'm such an extrovert, sometimes I have to step back and invite the introverts to be a part of the crowd.
I think I'm naturally an introvert, but as a kid, I was
me.
You couldn't. Oh, I'm sorry. Go on, Jimmy.
You can proceed. I was just giving a remark.
Oh, you're back. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think as a kid I was an introvert because I wasn't allowed to speak in my house. You couldn't. The kids just were silent, and I think that just made me an introvert. But now I realize I have a voice, and if you don't speak, you're not going to be heard. So I think I come across as somebody that's extroverted, but I'm really not. I'm really kind of a shy guy, but I have certain things that are passions for me, and I speak on them now. Whereas before I couldn't, when I was coming up, I could not. And I feel like, if you're given this voice, if you're given something to say, there's a reason for it, and you have to say it. So introvert or extrovert, doesn't matter. You have to speak when it's time for you to speak.
Absolutely.
I
Can
relate
I
so
share?
highly to that. Oh, Jimmy can go first.
No, this is Arnold.
Arnold.
Oh, Arnold. Okay. Hello.
Hello. I would wish to share my experience.
Mhm.
Personally, I'm an extrovert, and it could be the reason that me personally I like being leadership and so on. But currently, for the past year, as I told some of my friends here, that I was in a position of being a president at my university. So during that time, I suffered not being that expectation or me expecting from the other people, but finding most of the students within the university expecting too much from me, and it now became a burden to my way of living and lifestyle and taking of decisions, because different people like different things. And the people that you have to request these things from, that I call management of the institution, they are very different. This is where you bring in something, an idea or a problem of a student, and they are like, just calm down or chill, we will work on it. It takes some time, and yet students are pushing hard for you to bring it on table, or thinking that you're not putting it on table. So for the past year, this last year, while I was president, it has been some hard time with me. I used to take some days off campus to maybe take it off and maybe cool down. But immediately you get back to campus, there's a student who has got a problem, there's a student with a challenge, there's another student with this, and they all have to address it to you. But it's not that I didn't like the leadership and everything, but it was a really hard time to hold on that too much expectation from everybody, and the matter of fact that management was not responding, it was a challenge.
I can understand how that would be a challenge, because you step up to lead and everybody's like, yay, let's give him all the burdens, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how are you handling that?
Personally, I have been taking off breaks from the institution. I request for breaks from because at the end of it all, you're a student. After handling your responsibilities as a leader, you have to go back and handle your responsibilities as a student. So it all comes back as a big burden, because the responsibilities of a student are all the same with other students, that you have to do exams and things that come with them, and the tests. So you have to read, get time and read. So it was all, time came when it is really a burden. But I came up with, I realized that I have to handle all of them, despite the fact that I came in. So I had no way to get back. I had to find myself, let's say, a timetable where I can handle office work and my personal things, and the books. So anybody that could interact anything that is not on the timetable wouldn't be its time. So that is where when it came to my personal time, I could take off time and go and have fun or relieve of something. Then when it comes to time for office, I go and give it my time. When it comes to books, I give it time. Yeah, that's how I've managed to handle it.
Yeah. So Arnold, it sounds like you're really good at establishing boundaries.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is excellent. That is an excellent way of what is the word? Managing all that responsibility.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's.
I think your daughter was going to say something. I'm not.
Oh yeah, Madeline, did you have?
I relate to like being an introvert but extroverted around the right people, or when I'm passionate about something, I'm extremely like extroverted because I can just talk and talk and talk about that. So I highly relate. And I used to be very quiet, and now I'm kind of just like more extroverted. I'm kind of just like, who cares? Like, we all got something to say.
Yep.
And, yeah.
If
Very
you,
much.
if you don't say it, they'll say it for you. And nothing worse than having somebody speak
Mhm.
for you. You don't want somebody
Yep.
speak for you. You're highly intelligent. You speak for yourself. Period.
Yes, yes, literally. And if somebody else is speaking for you, then you're not going to be happy at all. And it's
Exactly.
not going to be like actually the truth as well.
True.
Yeah.
Perfect. Exactly.
Yeah. Yay, proud of you, babe. She can teach me things. Time to.
Yeah.
Oh, well, does anybody else have anything to share about this? Well, like one of my things that I do to work through things is to journal. And I know Jeffrey and Madeline do the same thing. Victoria probably does too. But just getting a piece of scrap paper and writing it down. And, one thing I tell the kids that I work with is that even if you don't want somebody to find it, you can write it down, tear it up, burn it, whatever you need to do, just get it out of your body, get it out of your mind. So, I mean, a lot of times I can't sleep because I'm going through something in my head I should have said, anything. And, just grabbing that piece of paper and writing it down is so therapeutic.
Mm-hmm. No doubt about it. And nobody's judging it. Nobody's looking at the spelling, the bad words you might have used. It's just you just releasing that. I was telling Carrie that, and you go back to it for the younger people, especially your daughter, because she's probably the youngest in the group. For the younger people, you go back to it and you're like, oh my God, you'll surprise yourself. Don't throw, well, I disagree with burning and tearing it up, but some people do that, but I would keep it. But you go back to it, if you reflect on it, you're like, oh my gosh, where was I at that point? And you'll surprise yourself with what comes out of you in certain moments, like those emotional moments you're writing stuff, and then you forget about it. And 2 or 3 months later, you're going through your journal and you look at that and like, wow, I said some really profound things there. Because we are all profound. We just have to find it. We are all profound. We all have our genius. Now, whether we find it or not, that's a whole different thing, but we all have our profound moments. And when you write them down, you can come back to them and say, man, and it gives you more confidence too. Like, wow, I wrote that. Nobody wrote that for me. I wrote that. That came out of me. So I think journaling kept me from killing myself. I'm gonna tell you. That's how profound it is to me. That's how important journaling is to me. I don't need it for that now, but when I first started it, I needed it for that. So that's how profound journaling has been in my life. So
Absolutely.
I think everybody should journal. Some people disagree with me, like, no, I'm not writing anything. Okay, well, but I think if you've had some burdens or you've gone through some things, just write it out. Doesn't seem like it's working, but eventually it works. You work through it. You work through it.
Well, and you can look back and I can tell like my emotional state based on the color of the pen that I chose or how my handwriting is or any of that stuff. Like you go back and you're like, oh, wow, I was really angry when I wrote this because it was like, so it's all very profound. I don't encourage the kids to tear things up, but if they are concerned that their parents are going to read it,
Right.
but hopefully that also encourages them to talk about it after they've gotten their thoughts out in a somewhat organized manner.
Yeah.
So,
And especially starting out young is very important
mm-hmm.
because they can also build a relationship with themselves and understand why they're feeling the way they feel.
Absolutely.
Wow, how old are you? Like 96? That sounds like an old soul's talking that boy.
I'm 18.
You've been here before, huh? You've been here before.
Maybe many times. Many times.
Yeah, I say it all the time. I think we're thousands of years old. Energy doesn't die. Energy doesn't die. So
nope.
Yeah.
The souls keep coming back.
Yep. Oh, boy, because you sound like, you've been here before. That's deep.
I believe I have. But that just depends on what you believe.
What you believe, that's true. That's true.
Absolutely. Well, I would like to offer you guys a journaling prompt, and if you decide that you want to share it on our website, you can send it to me, or if you want to write something to go on the website, I will definitely put that up there. But the journaling prompt that I was thinking about is that going back to a time that you felt severe peer pressure and how you handled that, and then how you would handle that today. I can see Madeline's wheels turning.
Also, something that's like interesting is like I feel like there's a lot of peer pressure or like worldly pressure for self-growth or self-work. But when people are actually doing it, society is like, what are you doing? Like, why are you doing that? Or like they just jump to judge as well. And then they're just like, what's the point? They don't actually, and then you try to help other people to do it, and then they're like, They don't want to do that.
Because it's
I
hard
just think
work.
it's very interesting. Yeah. Well, I just think it's interesting how like there's a lot of pressure for it, but nobody like actually encourages it or wants to do like what you need to do as well.
Right.
Like it's almost like taboo to actually do self-work.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
And then
And when you
even
do self-work, you don't need people as much. No,
exactly.
you really don't need people. I mean, I love folks from a distance most of the time, but I don't have a problem. But as you do self-work, you realize that a lot of this journey, not all of it, but a lot of this journey is some self stuff, internal stuff. And you realize, man, I don't need
Anybody.
anybody clapping for me to get through this. I
Mhm.
can do it myself, and that's a lot of power.
Mhm.
It's a lot of power when you tap into that. Can you
And
imagine
people
a
get
society of
scared.
everybody feeling that way? Be kind of hard to lead them,
Yeah.
or lead them, mislead them. Very difficult. Very
Yeah.
difficult.
Yes.
Extremely difficult because that's how like the government wants us to be is like little followers.
Mhm.
Like they don't want all of the spirituality incorporated in their people's lives. They want them to keep going through the system and being blinded by what they want them to believe and what they want them to do in order to keep the society going. They don't want that self-work.
Oh, no. So true.
So true.
That's around the planet, around the planet. And
Mhm.
keep them distracted. Keep them distracted.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
And it's sad.
I was reading something about, I'm reading this book by this Hancock guy, really Graham Hancock. He's talking about old civilizations. And do you know there were civilizations that their main priority, can you imagine, like thousands of years ago, their main priority was knowledge, self-worth, and I forgot the other third. There was three of them. I'm like, man, that was their main. It wasn't like making the most money, it was about self stuff. And that was their main. This is how these society. I'm like, wow, that must have been a pretty cool place until other people came. But that was
And
that
money
was the main
was
focus was
involved.
internalize, and make this world a better place for the community. That was their main. Wow, it's amazing. But they're uncivilized and they're prehistoric or whatever. But
Right.
we could
Yeah,
learn a
but that's
lot
how
from
it's
that.
supposed to be.
Yeah, it's like amazing. You wouldn't, I couldn't even imagine that in the planet now. Like that being the main focus, not to be a world power or superpower, but to just make our students, our population as educated as it can, as wise, as spiritual as you can make them. That's our main priority. Wow.
That would be amazing.
Whew, yeah.
Welcome,
Can't see that
Alan.
happening.
That would be the best thing to happen for society as of now. But what can you do?
Yeah.
This.
Yeah.
This.
Yeah,
Be
pockets.
rebellious.
Yeah.
You can have pockets of it.
And start with yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alan, we're glad you're joining us. Sorry, Jeffrey, didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I talk too much. Go on. I'm sorry.
Mm,
You don't talk too much.
Now you got stuff to say.
Finland. I met some people. Were they Finland? I met a couple when I was in Australia. They had a little baby. I think it was Finland. I think it was Finland. And they were talking about how raising. We were just talking about kids, and it was in Finland. The kid is the diamond. That's the diamond resource in Finland. Is the kids, not that. So there are no bad schools. They were telling me there are no bad schools because every school gets what every other school has. Because the children there are the diamond. They are the diamonds that the country is building and leaning on. And I'm like, man, that's a beautiful. Can you imagine there's no bad schools? You can go over here or go to the south side, east side, north side, and there are no bad schools because everybody's getting the same exact thing throughout the
That would
country.
be incredible.
Wow.
That's how it
I
should
mean, they're a
be.
really small country, so maybe it's a lot easier, but it's just a beautiful concept. It's a beautiful concept. Wow.
Yeah, that's how it should be.
Mm-hmm.
It shouldn't be
have-
that hard, right? Like it shouldn't be that hard. You just divide resources up evenly and
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
yeah.
Big facts. Big facts.
What a concept. Yeah. All righty. Ellen, I'm not sure if you got much information here. We're glad to have you. We are about to wrap things up. Jimmy, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Possibly not for the moment, but I just like conversation and where we are getting, guys. Every day, a lot of ideas. Every day, more activities coming. That's a milestone.
Yes. Yes.
And for the hub, try keep sensitizing people so that we have something coming up.
Yeah.
That's all.
Mhm. Mhm.
Wow.
We enjoy having you, man. I'm glad you're coming all the way from Uganda. That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. And bringing your friends.
Mhm.
Uganda is waiting for you. That was Arnold. I maybe a short story about Arnold. Arnold, I met this gentleman. I was working with the radio. We had the radio station.
Mhm.
So I had a campaign with university students, and he was really helpful, an open-minded individual whom I got along the way.
Mm.
So I really loved his character. And in most of my activities, campaigns, initiatives, I get him and call him in. So he's an open-minded person, a very beautiful person who loves his community, loves his neighbors.
Mhm.
And Alan is one of my co-workers. We're always moving along the way. And still also an open-minded person who buys ideas here and there, working hard to see that we have a better world, all of us. So being here is really a great pleasure and a great opportunity for us all to see that we come up with something beautiful,
Mhm.
Yes.
all of us.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is it, really. But we are here until this gets somewhere.
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly. And it will. And it will.
Yeah. We have to start
Only
somewhere.
that Jeffrey is always off and on during our WhatsApp conversations.
Mhm.
Well, and even if people haven't been able to join us live, this is live streaming on Facebook, and it's also recorded. So I'll put it on our Beat the Spark movement Facebook group if anybody wants to join in that isn't already hasn't already joined, so they can just rewatch this on that group. And you can always just add comments
Mhm.
on that recording.
Yeah. And people can,
I'll be sharing the link to some of the groups so that those people who really love to see what we are doing can get to watch
Absolutely.
this.
Yes.
Mm,
Yes. Yeah, you can share it. I
it
mean,
will be-
I can email it to you also, or email you the link. So I probably need to
Oh,
clean my Zoom.
that
But yeah,
that's amazing.
share it. You can
Mhm.
share it from my
But
Facebook
let's
page.
really okay.
And our next one is, what is the date on that one? I'll post it it's September, I think it's this 21st. That's not right. That's not right. So I think it's either the 16th or the 23rd, but I'll post it on the Facebook page when the next one is. So, like I said, I'll be in Bali's, and maybe Jimmy and Jeffrey and whoever else wants to join. I'll try to stay awake and join.
Okay. I'll be calling on you,
I'm
Neil.
going to
You
Bali
probably
too.
know more.
No, I'll be texting her going, get up.
Be like,
We'll FaceTime you.
Yeah, definitely.
that's all right. If that's what
What's
has to
that?
happen.
I'll
Yeah,
make her join. Don't worry, guys.
there you go.
Yeah, she will. Oh yeah, and Jimmy wanted me to remind everyone, and we thank Victoria because Victoria's already contributed
Thank you,
some
Victoria.
funds for the app.
Mhm.
So any little amount
Right.
is extremely appreciated.
Mhm.
So, because we want to get this app out there, and if you don't know about the app, Jimmy is working diligently on the app, and it will be free for everybody. We're working on putting some of these recordings on the app. We're working towards recruiting some people who will do some short videos on how to, maybe how to journal, or a little bit of a yoga, meditation, or journaling prompts, little blurbs from a psychiatrist or a doctor, or just about how to be healthy from head to toe, inside and out. And just being very supportive of what's going on. We'll have there's the cat.
Huh.
We'll have a cat on our videos. Now I forgot what I was saying. But anyway, there's going to be all kinds of wonderful things on this app. If Jeffrey or Jimmy want to add
Yeah.
to that.
Can I send you, like, if talking, because I think journaling is so important. Can I send you a short video on what journaling did for me, and we can put it up there? 'Cause
Absolutely.
it
Yeah,
really
you
is.
can put it on the Facebook page.
I'm so, when
So
it comes to technology, I'm
Yeah,
so
I'll send it to me. I'll do it.
I'll
for
send it.
you.
Okay. Yeah.
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 Do you have anything to add
okay, I'll
about
be
that?
waiting.
Go
I'll
ahead.
be waiting for ideas. If anybody have an idea which we can include there. The app is still undergoing development. We can add anything. Those are called parameters. You can add anything there. Are you
Yeah,
getting me?
A little bit.
a
I
little
was
bit.
saying that if anyone, I was saying that if anyone is having an idea, I'm
Mhm.
down for that.
Okay.
You can send them in because the app is still in developmental stages, whereby we can add in anything. Those are called parameters in the app languages.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent idea.
Yes,
Okay.
you can contact him. You can contact Kerry, then
Mhm.
Kerry can forward them to me.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
absolutely. And I'm going to type my email here for anybody who wants to email me. Oh, and the other thing is, if anybody wants to, write something, if you want to write your story, your healing journey, your wisdom, something you learned, or share something, I will definitely put it on the Facebook page and on our website also. So you're welcome to send that to me too. All righty. Well, if there's anything else, or if you want to join our team, if you have something to offer and you want to join our team, yeah, just get in touch with either one of us, any three of us.
Yeah. And thank you all.
Sounds
I
good.
learned from every single one of you. Thank you all. I really do. I mean that from my heart. I've learned something from everybody that speaks. I learned something.
Absolutely.
Thank you all for
Sure.
Just so glad to
Everybody
have
take care.
Yeah. Thank you all.
All right.
Take
Take
care.
care. All right. Take care.
Bye.
See you next time. All right. Bye. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.